All right, guys, here we're going to talk about The Murder Game. "2006's The Murder Game." I know you've seen this one.
Yes,
Yeah.
we both saw it back in that time.
Yeah,
and
it's a fun movie. I haven't revisited in a while.
I had weird flashbacks of it, and I can't say anything because that's a spoiler. Never mind.
Now, like a fun fact, like when we had a theatrical release of a movie, this trailer played before it.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. I was
Yeah.
like afraid to ask because he's gonna be like, "Oh, your mind is going. You forget everything." I'm like, I'm pretty sure we met half these people in real life at like auditions or something. There's people in this where I'm like, wait a minute, I know this person.
He's lost his mind. We've never once met anyone in this movie. These people are from like Maryland, I want to
Oh
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Something. I was like, wait, it's her.
I
know
did
her.
talk with the guy that like the director,
Okay.
and we had some back and forth, and that's why their trailer played before our film.
There's some. I knew there was some connection. I knew
There's
there
a
was
connection.
Something in the past where I'm like, this is not just a movie. This is something.
The connection is from the synapses in your brain that are slowly deteriorating.
It's been 15 years.
At least.
It's all you love and know. It's Cannibal Video.
I'm rounding to the nearest 5. Yes, it's been 15
Yeah,
years.
probably.
So,
No, but this is a fun movie. It's a very low budget film. I don't know what the budget on this particularly was.
I don't think,
but
but, like-
I would say in the few thousands of dollars, and I
Yeah.
feel like they made a very competent movie
no,
for
this
that
is,
amount of money.
This has a cool premise. It's in the category of like cheap but not bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of weirdly good. It's a little film schooly, but it's like a murder. It's what you.
Yeah.
It's a game about murder. Enjoy.
No, aside from a few character choices, which I think was just like, well, we only have this access to these people. Other than that, it's a pretty good movie.
It would stand out.
Yeah.
Like if this were like an indie band and you went to see live music and there were 5 bands, on the way home you'd be like, what was that one band? They had a good song. Like it seemed like they could play their instruments. They were like different than everyone else that was there tonight. It feels like that.
That is a proper talk about this. I think that will lead in beautifully now. So if you've seen it or don't care, if also to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of The Murder Game. You're so enthused.
What? Hello?
I really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
I think, especially for a low-budget movie, it has an opening that grabs you.
Yeah.
Which is not common.
No, big time. And I remember going into it because I wasn't like, I know that title. I was just like, what's this? Started watching it and then seeing all the, because it like quickly shows you all the characters. They're dead, but you can quickly
Yeah.
see them all. I was like, wait, what? I know this movie. I know this. I've seen it before. Oh my God. I was like running around. Yeah.
This has never happened before.
Yeah. Literally never.
Prove it.
No, it's a fun movie. Most of the cast, I think, is pretty good and like fits. The only one, what is his name, like Dexter or whatever?
I was
I'm
gonna
like,
say,
that guy looks far too
The
old.
38-year-old high school student.
Yeah.
He might just be a hairline sufferer. I don't know what his
Maybe,
deal
but-
is. But his choice of haircut is not helping that.
Well, that's also, I think,
And
he has
it's
like
whatever.
like a mohawk or whatever.
All right, fuck you then.
He looks like he's doing a like "Hello, fellow kids" routine,
Yes.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
which is like not. What
But
you
he's
want.
also one of my favorite characters. Like, I think he has certain lines like, you know this, or I know this, or something
I
like
know
that.
this.
Awesome, you're the shit! I know this. Where you want to do it?
He delivers things nicely. He reminds me kind of the guy from Reaper.
What are they making out? No.
But like, the budget version.
No, and if you're gonna have like these are your nerd stoners, like guys that go off on the side type of thing, they die relatively early, so it doesn't. Even this offense is not even hurting it that much.
No.
at the end of the day.
Again, yeah, if like that's
It's well contained.
especially based on, I don't know what the budget is, but I would wager it's under $3,000 is your and,
Yeah.
And for any movie like that, you're like, yes, casting is hard. Like, it's like, who do we have? Like, the fact that they used a school bus at one point, I'm like, that is impressive. They have the run of this facility, which, maybe someone they know works there, but just the same. There are locations and fun things here that actually work for a movie like this.
Yes, there's a bunch of like stuff, production value like that. At the end, there's a bunch of like special thankses in the credits of like blah 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 storage and all this. I remember seeing. I'm like, okay.
The bus made me
We,
think that it was a band's bus because all the windows are broken.
It only gets worse with age.
So, Colin.
Oh.
And like, I was like, yeah, as a person who knew people that had, like buses like that, because like they sell them off. So like, kids in high school would buy the Minute and the Little buses. Bands would buy the buses to lug their shit. Like that's a thing, and they would usually be kind of tore up. And
I was gonna say,
broken windows
this
kind of
m-
makes sense.
This might be a bus that's like on its way to being retrofitted to be like a better bus.
Yeah.
It's like a shitty like whatever, because all the seats are still there, which usually they'll take some out and put
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bunk beds in there. But no, this was for us. I remember because we were making a movie at around this time.
Yeah.
We used to have dreams, and I remember this one being like a great example of something low budget but good, and also this concept of like, okay, you want to make a movie, you have an idea, and then you're like, ooh, we have a storage unit. Okay.
In his dad's storage unit. No?
It's really small with stuff cluttered.
Shut up, jackass. I'm talking about the whole building. Think about it. It's perfect.
Let's fit the screenplay. Let's take all the stuff. Let's fit it into a story that takes place at a storage unit. And we'll film everything there, right? So
Yeah,
it's this nice, like, yeah.
I like it, and even like the exterior, like this is a really big place. So like,
Yeah.
a storage unit is something that you could film in and just keep refilming the
Okay.
same aisles
Yeah,
and make
yeah.
it look like you're filming a lot larger of a place.
Right.
But then once they get outside, you're like, oh, this place is actually really
Yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
big. Like they might not have done that much.
Just in case anyone didn't watch it, I don't mean a literal storage unit. I mean the place
A
where all the
facility,
storage is, a storage place or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
No,
But yeah, it's cool, right? They run around outside afterwards too, and there's some houses in the beginning. The beginning takes place in a house.
Yes.
So you're seeing all these dead people, and that's where you're introduced to the concept of the murder game.
I told you I don't want you to play that in the house. Can't you do something normal? Like play cards.
Where it's just like, is it like Manhunt? I never played Manhunt.
this is most like the game Assassins, I would say, a game we would play as kids. But yeah,
I was never a child, so I don't know what that is.
one person is the
Yeah.
murderer, and they are now trying to kill the other people
Yeah.
in various ways. In their version, like they have like fun tools.
Yeah,
there's
fake
there's
weapons,
a rope,
fun
a
things,
gun,
yeah.
a knife, a hammer, and like
Yeah.
pretty much it's a game of tag though. Just touching people with those things kills them.
One hit, you're dead. The knife. One stab or slice, you're dead.
Yeah.
I do like the demonstration of the gun. It's just a ball of tinfoil, and that man overacts the fuck out of that scene. I don't dislike it.
No, it's good.
Ow! Man!
Nice.
And it's cool that these garbage and like kids' toys represent like whatever. It's just
Yeah.
a random piece of rope, but if you get someone around the neck, you know they're dead or whatever.
Exactly.
Part of me though is like, well, are you allowed to fight back? Like, how does this work?
You have to be able to, but they don't ever display it because
Yes.
everyone picks up weapons. And if you couldn't fight back, are you only picking up weapons so that someone else can't pick it up? And maybe that could be a thing.
Yeah.
I do love there's a moment where like they're in the height of it. They a murder has been committed. They know this. The girl has a little like beep, 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 kind of hammer,
Yeah.
and she hits the one girl like like
I actually love this too. This is on my list of things. I didn't want to give it away yet, but yeah, the hammer's like squeaky and
Yeah.
stuff. And yes, after the turn, where there's real murders that happen. The spoiler alert is a
Oh my
murder.
God.
And that's like the big, oh shit, wait, they're dead. Yeah, I know. I was sitting there for an hour. It's like, no, dead. And it's oh shit, whatever. Like,
Okay, Jesus, I'm dead. Gosh.
and yeah, when she comes around the corner and sees like the killer and goes and just like gets her rapid fire. in
and the other girl
head.
doesn't know
Like,
that
like-
murder is happening. So she's
Yeah.
like, Jesus, I'm dead. The
Fine,
fuck.
fuck, or whatever. But she just panics, and that's her weapon. So she
Yeah.
uses it. Oh no! And it's like great. It's like, oh, it's a spider. It's like this weird,
Yeah.
like like visceral.
No, it
reaction.
plays nicely.
It's great. Yeah.
You're dead.
Carrie, are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
The dad in this is like ludicrous.
Yeah.
He's a dad. He has his like nephew is there with him to straighten him out. He's this goth kid. He's going through a phase.
You'll be lucky to ever get out of this house again. Suspension is a very serious issue, but that's cupcakes compared to what I'm going to do to you.
And
It's not a phase.
that kid's like terrible.
Yeah.
I think the only issues
little
with the
weepy.
script are really involving that kid
wow.
himself. I'll just jump in that right now.
You're being too hard. You're being too
Well,
hard. on
it's
this
that
guy.
he ends up at the facility where they're playing. I don't think he's ever been anywhere to hear that that's happening, but he shows up there.
I'm going to Carrie's. The girls and I are getting together to watch scary movies.
Even if those girls, that sounds scary.
That's them. I'm out of here.
And I think that might be the only actual script issue I have, but it's with him, and I didn't really care for that character. He's the final boy.
But consider this. He's looking out the window and they exchange these longing looks with each other, and then the car pulls and like the frame stays, and then you see the back window.
tell me.
Where like the main guy,
Yeah.
like the douchebag is like, and like fucking
Fuck
with him.
you.
Fuck you. And then and it goes, he's back in the window like fuck. And that's
Yeah.
his like, you know what? I am. And then later when he shows up, you're like, oh, because he was like, no, no, fuck you. And like, yeah.
Think if I will say goodbye,
He has a weird like, I'm gonna tear the posters off my wall, and I wasn't clear. I'm like, did he decorate the room already? Because he just got there like that day. I'm like, did he ruin her room?
And just
Is
the
this
guest
his
room?
shit? He like. Pushed a book over, like, okay.
I hate books, Mom.
Yeah. But that dad who I was talking about, he's like the worst dad. He's like, oh, cupcakes
one of
compared
their
to what I'm gonna
dads,
do to
right?
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just-
So like, while he's there to straighten this kid out, he gives him like no benefit of the doubt and like murders him at the end of the movie. Spoilers, but like that moment, and I love how it's just like that sped up scene to like get the car to go. But like his thing is from a distance, I see a kid with a shovel, and we know that every one of these houses they've been banned from playing this game that they play constantly where you're fake murdering people.
Yeah.
And so his first impulse as a good father and like the right now guardian of his sister or brother's kid is, I'm gonna run this motherfucker down.
Well, nobody said we couldn't play. We just can't play here.
We have been booted from every house we've tried.
And then just go to that girl who's a friend of your daughter's. Are you okay?
Trish, are you okay? What happened?
What was happening?
Oh, I don't know anything yet.
Yeah,
I know.
It's
I
so
know.
strange.
I feel like it was meant to be that he turns the corner and accidentally hits him or something like that.
No,
like it was
that's a
supposed to be-
straightaway.
No. Like that isn't what it is. But I'm saying.
Oh, no,
like,
I mean, I don't even
I
think
to
that's
have
supposed to be
it
that. I
play,
think
it was supposed
he,
to be
he
originally.
like is like, oh, there's trouble. Oh, I used this GPS tracking device thing I had,
Yeah.
which I don't think existed then, to find my daughter.
It's blinking, my
It's a
friend.
broken phone.
Yeah.
But he hunts her down and
little
then
chip.
he's like, oh no, this goth kid, he must have become a murderer. I'm gonna destroy him with my vehicle. And then her bit there were like, oh, I've murdered before, I'll murder again. I don't know how I got away with it last time, but I did. And here I am. And now I've gotten away with it again. Let me smash your face with this shovel just to throw a little insult to injury and maybe get myself to go to jail.
I mean, she's been smashing a lot of people.
I think up till that moment you could blame it all on somebody else, but that would be like he was already
Listen,
dead.
There's not going to be like a forensic analysis. They're going to be like, yeah, I ran that kid over, and they're going to be like, that's okay. Yep, I see that.
Yeah, I think they're all going to jail.
Who's all them? No.
Well, the two survivors.
No, the dad is going to jail
Yeah, he ran a fucking kid over.
in self-defense.
I wonder how self-defense plays. No, but let's say he was the murderer, right? But if you don't know someone's a murderer right then, I don't think you can say you were doing it.
Are you familiar with the criminal justice system? She's crying. He's like, I saw him about to kill her, so I just gunned it, officer. And they're like, okay. And they just throw all the bodies, into a big pile, and then it's done.
It would depend what state you're in, I think.
There's not what?
It would depend what state you're in.
It would depend what state
Yeah.
you're in, but I happen to know that this is how it's going to go down.
That's Maryland. I don't know.
It also depends on some other things, but yes, based on what I'm seeing in this movie, that's what'll happen. It'll be fine. Everyone will be fine, including all the dead people.
That's bullshit. I don't believe a word of it.
I like the Chekhov's gun of the axe.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, let me show this thing.
We're gonna walk the halls together and place them in various spots. That way we'll all know where they are and we can learn where these halls lead.
Well, this is like, okay, so like even like the dad coming back is sort of a full around thing. There's a lot of stuff where they're like, he says, I thought you were in juvie. She's like, I didn't say juvie, you said juvie. I did. And there's all these stories where like this is the rare low budget movie where it like knows about itself. A lot of low budget movies, every sequence or scene or set piece is like a separate thing where there's no consciousness or awareness. But that's why I'm saying it's film school, that it's, like as a screenplay, it's setting things up and paying them off and all that good stuff. Also, I think it's film school because the audio is weirdly good.
What's the deal with Marilyn Manson back there?
Oh, him? He got into some trouble at his last school. Got expelled.
Really?
What'd he do?
Based on everything else. And I think a lot of it might be ADR, and I feel like this is done at like whatever school they're at, and this is like a part of the fucking thing. Because I'm like,
It's
this
filmed
crazy.
at the high school that this guy actually went to. So
Okay.
like there's some pull there,
Yeah.
or when they're out of school.
Well,
Which is not,
like,
honestly
you
not
know,
much of it.
They
So-
were like in the edit bay with someone.
Yeah,
I
no.
feel like this was like a thing.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of this, what screams film school to me is that it feels like someone wrote a script, read it, and then went, okay, where can I go back to tweak these
Yeah.
things? Which is why I have
Fucking
the issue
giving
that I
a shit,
have,
yeah.
where I'm like, I don't get like you could have easily fixed a couple of these other things because you
Probably-
took care of a lot of the other stuff.
I think it's a prioritization thing where they're like,
Maybe.
no one's going to care about this except some douchebag from New Jersey in 20 years.
I cared then too.
But you still do.
Yeah, I do.
All these people are dead now, Stefan, and you're still holding on to this nightmare.
I think we're the same age.
We are. No,
Yeah.
they're younger.
Yeah,
They're younger than me, yeah.
Be quick about it, ass. I'm not going to sit here sniffing this doobie all day.
I'm sitting here sniffing this doobie all day.
I think him saying doobie, I was like, he already looks like the oldest character in the movie. Don't make him say doobie.
Yeah, now he's like, oh, Jefferson Airplane, that's my jam.
And be quick about it, ass. I'm not gonna sit here sniffing this doobie all night.
And you're like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Oh, I was at Woodstock. Like, how old is he? I don't know.
Woodstock, this is the best shit. Space lasers, pew, pew, pew. So, like, we actually see what happens when two characters encounter each other, where no one is sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah.
And for the first time, it's our two, what turn out to be compadres, these
Mm-hmm.
stoner loser people we're talking about.
Nope. Well, this sucks.
I know. Can't believe they think this is fun.
But it's the weirdest thing where they show each other their cards, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, if you can do that, then like that's what
I
is
don't
this game?
think
What's
you
happening?
would typically do that.
So then, as they're walking away, because I'm like, uh-oh, problem with the movie, and then you know, in their banter, you find out they don't even fucking like doing this.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out with these people. They're like, why is Eric and Lucy so fixated on this stupid game? It's not fun at all. And then you get all this cool dialogue where they're kind of like subverting and being like, ugh, and all that stuff. It's like, that's hilarious. Because the whole time I was like, what the fuck is this game? I'm siding with the mom. Stop doing this in the house. What the fuck
I
is wrong
love
with
when
you?
the mom comes
Yeah.
in, but doesn't recognize her own son.
Whoa! Jesus Christ! Stop, Mom, it's me!
That's what's
yeah.
goofy about it. Like, he wasn't wearing
Exactly.
a mask or anything.
No, he should have had like a weird hood or mask or something
Something.
on, whatever. That's another, that's another thing where I know what they meant, and like enough of it is strong enough that I go with it and I'm fine
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. Because it never chains together too many things that don't click enough for me, where I begin to lose it and go like, uh-oh, what's happening?
It's
with
relatively grounded for
Yeah.
a movie, which I think is very nice because usually the lower the budget, the less grounded people try to be.
Well-
and I'm like, listen, people, let's do something within our
this?
grasp.
One death that stands out is the death where he like weaves her together with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. I remember
They're like,
the
"What?"
first time I watched that going, wait, how does that work? Where's that going?
And it's
How
like
is it
shooting-
frothing still?
It's like coming out of her mouth like she's a Muppet, and it's actually
Yeah.
like shooting, right? It makes
But
no
like
sense.
it is impressive visually.
It's- no,
and I
like,
didn't
they
recall.
pulled it
I
off.
thought Dexter
Yeah.
got that death,
Okay.
and when he didn't, I was like, oh, did I misremember?
Am I making this up?
Dexter's death might be the best death. Like
Hmm.
with the head falling off, like that's a really solid death.
Come on, man. What's the holdup?
No.
And later, using his head to beat somebody else.
I found Dexter.
What?
That's a good reveal for the killer. She's like holding the head.
I
right,
do.
kind of thing.
I do think that's a great reveal. Yeah,
is
the blood dripping. Surely, you're like, oh, it's dripping from over there, and then like
Yeah.
you see it's
No,
actually
it's-
dripping over here.
And like cutting back and forth, it was just right. Honestly, that's why again I'm like, this was made by people who like knew what they were doing but didn't have
Yeah.
the money, because they know, because like any like more dramatic and longer, you would like crack, you would laugh, like why are you making such a big deal out of this? But like less, it wouldn't register properly. So I feel like it was the perfect like don't cutting. You're like scrolling up on her, and then you're cutting back to like the other chick, and she's
Yeah. turning
her head. Oh my God! Wait, something's happening, and then it's like oh.
She has a great like face for being I'm the murderer. Like
What's up?
her deep breathing and how her hair like gets all disheveled and the blood on her face.
She does the like Kubrick like looking up through
Yeah.
her eyebrows thing.
It works. I think it works less when it's directly lit.
Yeah.
Because like I'm still like, okay, you're like an 18-year-old girl. I'm not that scared of you.
like,
But like there's something there like a like almost like what was that, like sleepaway camp kind of looked to. I'm like, oh yeah, you're creepy. Okay, what do you got there?
And like she blends, like for me at least, I don't know if this is universal experience, but throughout the movie there's like other more interesting characters. She kind of blends in.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything too crazy, and you think by then that's like it's not like logically she can't be the killer because there's only a few people alive, so obviously whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But by that point, you think you know what function she is serving in the movie, and you're no longer. I thought it was Eric or Lucy because I forgot that she was the killer the whole time. So I was like, oh, it's like when you first see Lucy, I'm like, oh, that's right, she's the killer. I had this fucking weird thing where I'm like, I know her, and she's kind of tough. She's kind of like whatever.
Lucy, I
But
feel
like,
gets a really understated I'm like, oh, like she was the tough one. Like I feel like she should have beat her in that fight, and then she's just like there, like dying. I do think the stabbing on Lucy is probably the best effect, where like blood moves when the stab happens. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. You sold that for me. I do like that she grabs her, like to give her cousin a chance to live. But I think there's something there that didn't exactly work. Maybe the length of how long she delays him.
No, and I think everything has some of those weird roughness to it or whatever, but the movie plows on as if like, okay, that's been covered, we're good. And if you go with it, it's fine. But yes,
and that's a subversion. She's a tank top girl, so you're like, oh, she'll be the final girl.
Exactly.
And she's not. Having a final boy is actually pretty interesting.
Yes. Well, and that's what I mean. Like once you're down to those 3 or 4 people, 4 or 5 people, you're like, I get it. I know what's going to happen. It's obviously not the goth kid because of whatever, but blah, 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 blah. And then when he gets, like at first I thought he fell down the stairs too, but he had knocked the other guy down the stairs. Yeah, and I was like, oh, because then, because in my head I was like, oh, so this is where he like accidentally kills the wrong guy, and then it's like, and the killer. But no, it's the
goth kid sells something so hard. He gets thrown at one point, and I'm like, well, there's no stuntman in this movie. I'm like, you just threw that kid, like he like flies down to the ground, and I'm like, all right.
You trying to give me a heart attack?
When it's from our bully kid. He's like, what are you doing here, like asshole, and like throws him by his collar.
Son of a bitch. What the hell are you doing? You trying to give me a heart attack?
And I'm like, okay,
people.
That's a concrete floor. He's injured forever. I love it.
Then emo music starts playing and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. There's a part when the chick with the braids is like, oh, like, well, how can I help? And like that like weird virgin kid is like listening to them like have sex with a wall, and like they're having like a serious conversation, and there's just moaning sex sounds.
Want to talk about it?
No.
I promise I won't tell anyone. I just want to help.
I love that. And then like to build him up and be like, oh, let's go in here. Oh, we can do this thing. Bunk. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You're dead. Sorry.
Are you serious?
You're just gonna leave me here like this?
Yeah, sexed up teen. You can't do that.
I was very confused with who was with who and what was happening or whatever, but I figured, they'll be dead soon anyway, it's fine.
There's that time you and Sarah left for like an hour to cha-cha, while the rest of us just laid there dead.
There are a lot of characters in this movie.
Yeah.
Like for especially a low budget movie, that's a lot of faces.
That's a part of how the killer chick, who's the killer, hides.
Like, yeah, gets lost in the crowd. Exactly.
Do you think she was because like she was underwhelming to me, but then when she flips, it wasn't perfect. It's not 10 out of 10. Do you think she was like her fucking story about like, oh, at my last school, was that like her audition speech? You think is that like the fucking
I
thing?
would wager she probably auditioned with one of the final like, okay, I need you to act like a crazy person, do this thing, blah blah. Let me see your look here.
They were like,
she's probably a drama
putting
kid.
her into that.
I bet they already knew she could act, and they're like, all right, let's see how this goes. Like it wouldn't be surprised me if all these kids were just like, just college, high school drama kids.
Yeah. No, but honestly, like humor might be the hardest thing to do with something. And there's a bunch of stuff like that when he throws the thing at him. And
the gun.
That's a gun?
Yes, it's a gun.
How do you figure?
Ow!
There's a few other scenes like that where they're having like a conversation, and it almost just barely doesn't work, but it kind of works.
Okay, I spent the last few hours coming up with the rules.
We know the rules, Eric. I mean, we've only played this game 1,000,000 times.
No. See, I came up with a few new ones just for this place.
Where he's like, okay, moving on now, or some weird thing like that. But I'm like, no, this is comedy. I'm aware of comedy now. This is what it is.
Donnie? Donnie's dead too? Yes! All right, enough with the Abbott and Costello routine.
This is fine.
No, this stood out. I had like 12 like super low budget movies like this in my picks like around this time, and I was like, oh yes, these are what you should check out if you're a fan of film, because you learn nothing from watching a blockbuster movie.
Right.
Like you can learn like, oh yeah, if I had millions of dollars, I'd make a movie like this. But like if you're actually a film person, you want to watch the lowest of the low budget, and like this is one of those. And I think
and there's a perception too that like, you know, making a movie, there's a big machine and you pour money and like jewels and like things into it, and then a movie comes out. It's like, oh, you need people who like know what they're doing and like spend the time to get all the coverage of all the scenes. There's like transitions in this. Yeah. Where like play something. Like one's really cringy where like they're getting on the bus and they use dissolves, and I was like, ooh, it's 2006. We can't use dissolves anymore.
There's
Please
a
stop.
dissolve at the very end where like the goth kid's running for his life and like her eyes are in the fucking sidewalk or whatever.
That's the greatest, worst thing ever. Yes.
I was like, ooh.
I laughed. I was like, uh-oh, what the fuck? Because like that's the only time where it borders on like artistic or whatever.
Yeah.
But they are like they understand that before you show a location, you need to show the exterior, and then you show like when they introduce the storage facility, they show the exterior. They show a dude like closing up, and they show like the lights chunk, like going off, and they show like sliding the thing, and you're like, oh. I feel like I'm in a movie and I'm being transported to another location. Whereas low budget shit, you know, it is just like bam, you're just like there, and you're like, where am I? What's happening?
Well, because half the time there is no exterior. It's like
well,
this isn't a real building. Oh
It's just in my closet. Yeah, exactly. That's when you gotta do all CG exteriors.
I think it's so funny. Will gets like stabbed to death. He gets like stabbed in the stomach, and he gets away. And you're like, oh, okay. Maybe he'll get to warn people. We'll see how this goes. And then when you cut back to Will, he has 1,000 implements in his back.
So many knives.
Whoa! What the hell?
And then that's when it's funny where it's like he's dead. Oh, okay, shut up. No, really dead. Okay, prove it. And then just smash cut to like I think it's more knives at that point. He's so many knives in his back. He's like a porcupine made of like weird sharp. That's like so dumb. It's so funny. It's so good.
I do like the blood slowly leaking out of him. You're like, oh, that he's actually. Oh,
yeah, because she like hits.
Okay, Will, you can get up now.
Lucy.
Come on, bitch, get up.
And she calls him like, "Get up, loser! Fucking stop it, whatever." Because like each person has to be like, "No one's."
And that's how it would be.
But listen, like this is the murder game. Even using the M word, everyone's like, "Okay, like a murder, or like the fucking shit we do every week."
There's also a weird like I think a lesser movie would not have also added like a homeless gentleman into the whole mix.
That was so weird. Yes.
It's weird, but it works because for a moment you're like, oh, okay.
Maybe he sees this as a threat because this is his home or something.
Well, if he's homeless, he doesn't have a home.
Obviously, that's the killer. These are all friends. Why would somebody suddenly murder all their friends?
People have good and bad reasons for doing all sorts of things. I mean, murder's no different.
Well,
in all the movies where people suddenly murder all their friends, there's never a good reason. Like, ever. And this movie is no different. There's no good reason. But it's fun.
That was a very timely time to start doing. We watched, it's like an homage, at that 2006, but that thing from Scream where it's like, motivations are overrated, we're just, what if he's just crazy, that fucking shit. I'm like, oh, that's cute, you're doing a thing,
Yeah. Well, there's a thing there, but having this person like there actually is someone else. It's not just like someone saying, I think I saw someone else there. Oh, there's someone like there's a lair, the guy lives there. Like that's a thing people did do back in the day.
And the new kid, the cousin, the goth kid, says, I was following some homeless dude for a while.
I was following him around for a while, but he lost me.
Oh, God.
And then when you see her, like you see the homeless dude, I think really for the first time during the montage when they reveal who the killer is, right? Or shortly thereafter. So this is them weaving together like, oh no, we have an explanation for why that kid even said he saw someone else, right? And you know, there's a part where like the homeless dude's holding the knife, and in this montage, this black and white thing, you see the trail of her dropping the knife, you know, someone else picking it up, that dude having it, you know, hiding, being like, I don't know what's going on, and then eventually her killing him. It's this beautiful, like, oh shit. Right?
Yeah, I do like them doing like that whole like Blair Witch of
Showed
what
you the
really
fucking thing,
happened.
exactly,
Like like that was cool.
Yeah.
And seeing her face, she was into it. Like,
oh, and like it like escalates so that when you get back to like the present after the montage, you know, her face is like she's pissed and she's like puffing and puffing like I can't wait to kill you now. Like it's pretty good.
there are some fun deaths. I like the pipe to the neck and the blood coming out of the pipe.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's up there with the fire extinguisher. It makes a little bit more sense because it seems logical, but it's still a good death. I like the big scissor to the guy's head.
The gardening shears, just like
the Valley Girl-esque character who's like, I need a defensive weapon. A rake? Like. And you think, oh, she must have died right then because of how she like looks into the camera, but she doesn't. And I'm like, okay, that also subverts my expectation. That really is just her dumb like a rake. Is that a good weapon? Like,
no, is that the one who gets pulled down the the stairs later, or is that a different girl?
I don't remember.
You're not getting away that easy, bitch.
When the girl gets pulled down the stairs, I liked it because they did a really good, I thought, job of having her crumpled and looking dead on there.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do, but I feel like no one does it. They just lay there like they're in bed, but her like one leg is like kicked off to the side. And I'm like, okay, again, like film school, like okay, you
sold me.
You did no, just like do the bare minimum, please. Just make it work for me. I don't need like neck bones like sticking out. Just fucking have your knee at a weird angle, and I'm like, oh, she must be dead.
You're a sick man. Completely deranged. A lunatic. I'm in.
The part where Lucy is about to, she's like, well, perk up, baby, I'm about to save the day. And like the fire alarm does not work at all, and you're like, oh.
Perk up, baby. Lucy's got your ticket out of here.
Are you kidding me?
That only works on camera.
Yes.
Because like you're obscured from seeing like that wire goes to nothing, but like she's right there. There's no way she couldn't see that.
Literally 11 out of 10. One of my favorite moments in the movie.
Her saying that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that worked. She reminds me of like an Ellen Page. Like a lot of charisma.
No, she was good. I actually liked her. I remember like, oh, hey, whatever.
You know how crazy my dad is. What if he finds out?
Lucy, we're locked in here. He couldn't go back even if he wanted to. He's not gonna find out.
Okay. Something else cinematographically, I just noticed and thought to like jot it down. There's when they're looking at all the cell phones and they're in like a cabinet or something like that.
All cells in the bag.
What?
You heard me, let's go.
They go well above and beyond for this nothing scene. There's shots from like inside the cabinet. Looking out at the kids, and then like you see inside the cabinet as he slams the door, and like on the slam they're like pulling open the like door to like a storage unit. It's a beautiful transition.
No, that is very good.
It's well executed, and I'm like, fucking just do that. Everybody else with $1,000, what the fuck?
I think a lot of that is undersold. Like just the idea of bringing a lock with you to a storage unit. You're like, well, there's going to be empty ones. I could use any of these for anything. Like I think that's
like,
cool.
And there's like snippers, and you can totally see what happened, and like a bunch of smashed phones that were old even then or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You're like, perfect. Give me your broken phones, people. We're making a movie.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
That means it's one of us.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. mission.